Thursday evening. As we look ahead to the weekend, Matt, it's going to be just a bit more seasonable. Probably chilly too, right?
It will be. We should be next to 50, and that's where we're headed this weekend. Some of us may be a touch cooler than that. Some of us may stay in the mid to upper 40s, but otherwise very typical for this time of year. It just feels colder compared to the 60s and 70s that we've had so far pretty much throughout the majority of January and 2023 for that matter. But this evening we're cooling off. We'll hit about freezing in northwest Arkansas closer to midnight. We'll hit near freezing by the time we're waking up tomorrow morning in the River Valley. Some of us will be hovering right next to that freezing mark waking up tomorrow. 20s likely to wake up and start your Friday in northwest Arkansas. Throughout the day we'll warm up. Many of us should hit some 50s. This weekend will be a touch cooler because we have some clouds on the way. There's this weak storm system coming in. It's centered over Las Vegas right now. It's coming to visit. It'll give us a spotty shower or two, nothing heavy. But then as you're waking up Sunday morning, the coldest temperature of the day is usually in the morning, early morning. There may be a few snowflakes that mix in, especially in northwest Arkansas, but the thing is, we're going to go back to the 40s later in the afternoon, so nothing should really stick. But if you are headed to get breakfast with your family, maybe you're headed to a church service, as you're going out the door, with some of the raindrops, you may notice some snowflakes. That's kind of what we're talking about. Not a big system for us. But in the next week, there's a much bigger system that we have to talk about. But let's first start with the first one. We have a couple of showers possible throughout the day across the natural state and in eastern Oklahoma. Just spotty, nothing real major too. But by Sunday morning, a few of those little rain showers that we have as we get closer to freezing may start to turn over to a few snowflakes. But it'll be brief and then it's done. And then Monday, we start nice. And then by Tuesday, Wednesday, we've got a winter storm that's going to be hitting the central United States, and it may take a southerly enough, track that we actually get some snow out of this, both in northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. But we have a lot of questions, though. We're not exactly sure when we'll go from rain over to snow, but we do think we'll start off with some rain, and then we make that transition over into snow. The sooner we can do that, the more snow we'll get. Also, what about the track of the whole storm system? We're still working on how far north or south it goes. That will also dictate how much snow that you pick up at home, plus the timing of, are we hitting during the middle part of the day, or is it going to be more Tuesday night? If it's more Tuesday night, we've got colder air to work with, and possibly also more snow. But here's the latest what we think on the track. Probably as soon as the low pressure exits Dallas, it's going to make that left-hand curve from the storm's perspective going more north and east. And we've got that chance for accumulating snow right here in Fort Smith and Fayetteville. A little bit less, a little bit more of a mix closer to Little Rock. But it all depends on the track. And we kind of have three different solutions that may be possible. The northern track means less snow because the farther north the track is, the farther north the warm air can go. We'll probably have some snow, but that mix is going to really eat into snowfall totals. Now, if the thing goes a little bit farther south, we'll make that transition over to snow for a few hours. We'll get a couple inches possibly. But there is a chance that this low pressure barely even hits Arkansas. It hits more towards Louisiana, Mississippi. If that happens, all the rain stays south of Mississippi, well, we get all the snow, and we could have several hours of snow. So it all depends on the track. That's what we're working on. Here's just a very early projection of how much may fall. If we get more of that northerly track, maybe an inch or two. If we get more of that southerly track, we get more of that cold air, we could have a few inches on the ground. In the River Valley, I think this storm system actually hits us. If this takes more of that northerly track, it's fairly dusting. But if it takes that southerly track, we'll get the higher end, which means we could even get an inch or so. So that's something we're watching in the middle of next week. Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll spend more time on the 7-day coming up, but it's definitely something to watch.
Dan Enos is coming back to Arkansas. The current Maryland offensive coordinator and former Razorback OC is returning to the same role